It was time to hit the road and head on over to the Sierras. You know, it's my happy place. I love going to the Sierras. On this trip, we were headed to Mammoth Lakes and then eventually on to Yosemite. Mammoth Lakes was actually quite cold, and I was a little worried about it. We did have to
Hi,
take
Buzz.
a special bus because the road was under construction, but there was only one other couple that got off with us, and we never really saw them. So we practically had the place to ourselves, but the weather was much warmer when we got to the park. So I was really, really happy about that. It was just really beautiful, and it was just really a nice way to kick off our trip. It is really incredibly beautiful here, and I know every time you see me go either to Yosemite or into the wilderness, I always say that, but it is the truth. It is so grounding. It is so grounding, and it's incredible to me how quickly all the things that you think are so important or you're so stressed out about become so insignificant. And that's not to say that, the day-to-day worries aren't still there or whatever things that are on my mind. But primarily when I think about like all the things that at work that I'm dealing with and that for whatever reason in my mind seem insurmountable, it's really amazing to me that when I get out here they mean nothing. It almost like I laugh at myself to say, what were you even thinking? And that's the beauty about coming out here. It's not that I'm desensitized, it's just it really gives you so much perspective. It gives me perspective that everything that I think is important or that's worth my time or worth my worry or even stress is not. That's why it's so wonderful, and that's why I enjoy coming out here so much. And I have so many coworkers that will always say, kind of like they're happy for me, but like, oh, you're going again, and yeah, for me, it never looks the same. The seasons of course change it, but I think you're also in a different headspace every time you come out here. So, and you see things differently, or you see things. And by that I mean, how many times have you walked down a street or in a neighborhood and you never realized a garden or a tree or a pet, whatever, because you see it, you're seeing it. And that's how I feel when I come back to either Yosemite or to the Sierras. There's always something, even no matter how many times I've been to one particular spot, I always see things for the first time, and I think that's what's always so exciting and beautiful. It's really beautiful. That's Devil's Post Pile. And these were formed by lava. They look pretty cool. They look like shards of rock versus shards of glass. Really interesting. This was the next day, and we decided to take a hike off of Tioga Road, one of our favorite hikes called Cathedral Lakes. It didn't pan out as we expected, but nonetheless, it was an adventure. So we didn't really make it that far, actually, because now we see that there's a threat of rain. Didn't really believe that the rain was coming, but it is, and we don't have rain gear, and it's not fun to be caught in the rain, especially up here. It's kind of cool, so the water won't evaporate off of us fast enough, so that would be really, really uncomfortable. So we're gonna head back down, unfortunately. I'm really sad about it, but I don't want to get caught in the rain, and the rain is coming. It's looking pretty bad. early this morning. It is about 6 o'clock. We're up at, I didn't even brush my hair, but it is 6 o'clock. We're up at Glacier Point getting ready to start the hike. It's nippy this morning. I think it's about 40, low 40s, and it's really, really cold. But we're gonna hit the trail and you can see Half Dome in the background. So I'm a little tired, but let's head on the trail. We're here at Mono Lake, which is on the other side of Tioga as you exit here, and it is in the Eastern Sierras, and it's a phenomenon. This lake, it's pretty incredible. You'll see a lot of bumper stickers that'll say "Save Mono Lake" because it is slowly not to the water levels that it used to be. But what is incredible about it is that it has these things called tufas. And I'll show you in a moment, but basically they're formations that come out of the lake, and they're formed by calcium. There's a calcium spring underneath these waters that bubble up, and they attach themselves to the carbonates in the lake. And over time, they build upon each other and create these structures. So you kind of feel like you're on Mars. It's pretty incredible. It's absolutely stunning, but I want to show you what it looks like. And we come here, every so many years just because it's really fascinating, and it just always, it's incredible, I mean, I know it sounds really cheesy for me to say, but it's incredible, the things that nature is capable of. But I'm going to flip the camera over and I'm going to show you what these structures, these tufas, I always want to call them tufungas, but they're tufas. That's what they're called. Let me show you. You can see some there and some right up ahead of me here. But look at these, how incredible they are. You feel like you're, if you were watching a sci-fi movie, you feel like you're in outer space, right? I mean, they're incredible. You're not allowed to go or climb them. Not that I would, because it seems pretty obvious that you shouldn't do that. So I won't. But I'm going to show you the landscape. So I'm going to show you how far they go. You can see that they go out as far as there. And apparently this lake used to be much larger, where the water line really extended out further. And like everything, it's sort of been depleted over time. It's stunning. It's almost like when you come upon it, you're coming upon an oasis, right? It just seems so odd. It's really beautiful. Back home, and immediately I went into my garden. I had some repotting to do, but I also had to go in and prune back a lot of my plants. I had to prune them back really, really hard so that they can rest during the fall and the winter and be ready to bloom in the spring. But I have to say, it always makes me sad to do it. Another beautiful day in the city. I'm in San Francisco. I live about 30 minutes away, and although that's not very far for those that live in the Bay Area, it's almost considered like a trek. But I like to get here every so often just to see how things have changed or just explore it and just go to some of my favorite places. So it's a beautiful day today. It is our summer. It is early October, but for us, this is when it gets really warm and it's not foggy, so it's really, really nice. It's going to be about 90 degrees, which is a big deal for those of us that live here. But it's a beautiful day, and I thought we would go to some of my favorite places and just hang out and explore and enjoy the day. Next on my list was Scrap. Scrap is a reuse center that's located in the industrial section of San Francisco, and this place gets all kinds of donations from everywhere imaginable. It's pretty wild, some of the things that you find here, but they have all kinds of bits and bobs, and it just makes it really, really interesting. I love meandering down all of the aisles and looking at all the new things that they got, or just all of the things that they have, and really try to imagine myself as an arts and crafts person. But it's more a fantasy more than anything, but it's fun. But we decided to head on over to the Presidio and took the scenic route through this beautiful city. I love how you come upon this view of the Palace of Legion of Fine Arts. That building right there. It's so beautiful. But there's also conveniently within this beautiful Presidio a Starbucks. So it's time for a matcha. Let's go. On this day, I decided to head out to the beach. With summer being over and October almost over, I really wanted to soak it all up. I decided to go to Drake's Beach, which is off the beaten path. It's further up north along the Point Reyes seashore, and it's a really, really beautiful beach. On this day, I got really lucky because it was in the 80s, which is rare for this beach, but I was so, so grateful, and I was just soaking it all up, having a really wonderful time, enjoying my husband's company and having great conversation and just relaxing, and sitting in the sun is always really wonderful. But I was also reflecting and really thinking that this spring and summer was probably one of the best of my entire life. And I know that that sounds like a very big statement, a dramatic one, but it's true. And I think that really has to do with the fact that I really allowed myself to do the things that I've been wanting to do. And I think in years past, I've always sort of allowed myself to do some and not all. But obviously, I'm not getting any younger, so I need to seize the day. And I did. And I was really, really proud of myself and just reflecting and feeling really, really grateful. But I'm going to end the video here. And I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.